Okay, so I'm joined by Tinashe John Tawanda Shamu, also known as TJ Shamu, who is the country director for Tag Rugby Trust here in Zimbabwe. Tinashe, a very good morning to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to you.
Okay, so Tag Rugby, Tinashe,
Yes.
would you just kindly tell me the progression path of those that have played Tag Rugby? Maybe before you even go there, let's start on your numbers for this year, for 2023.
Well, it's been a great year for us in 2023 because we expanded our model. Usually we've, for many years, if you follow Tag Rugby Trust, we've worked with primary schools. And this year we started working with high schools. So our player base has grown substantially as we focused in 5 new areas with high school students. So it's been a good year as our numbers have increased substantially.
And these 5 new areas, would you like to just name them?
Yeah, so we've got Harare, obviously, Loayo, Mutare, Chinoi, and Vimfos.
Okay. Now, Tag Rugby, Tinashe, people that have never held a rugby ball, especially kids, the young ones, like the youngest person who has ever played Tag Rugby was how old?
We start at ECD, at ECD level. Obviously at ECD level, the concentration spans are very little, but just familiarization with the rugby ball, and everyone is born with a competitive juice. Once there's a competition, you just manipulate the rules so someone can score and someone can win. And from ECD all the way until senior Tag Rugby, which is actually adult Tag Rugby for any ages, for anyone. So Tag Rugby is inclusive in that way, as it also allows boys and girls to play on the same field against each other, with each other.
All right, so you, Tag Rugby Trust Zimbabwe, you are at the best, the grassroots of rugby in Zimbabwe. So the opinion that I had that the progression of people that have played maybe from ECD to then play primary school and then to high school and then to really play professional rugby, how is it like?
Yeah, so on the rugby perspective, we're a perfect tool to develop and hone skills, not just of rugby, but rugby league, any rugby related sport. We're a perfect tool for that matter. So you find at ECD, we've got specific rules for ECD up to grade 2. They generally play the same sort of rules. Then from grade 3 to grade 5, we change the rules again, because it's also something that we discovered over the years. If someone plays the same rules from grade 1 to grade 7, they can also get bored. Okay, so we always want to challenge. So like I said, grade 4 to 5 have their own rules, grades 6 to 7 have their own rules, then form 1 to form 4 they have their own rules, and then upper 6 and lower 6, upper 6 up to adult tag, there's the full tag rugby game. So we basically pick and put things as we go, and that's the best way for someone. So you can come in and get involved in tag rugby at any age. You will find specific rules for you and you will still enjoy it, and the competitive juices will flow naturally.
I'm just thinking that you guys in Tag Rugby, you have become a fiber that is very present from ECD, someone who's young, is 4 or 5 years old, and then they go to primary school, they play rugby, and they go to secondary school, they play schoolboy rugby, and then they go for club rugby, they play for national rugby, international
100%.
rugby, and then when they get old like us Madala, we still come back again, and we still find Tag Rugby is there for us.
So that's our model, because it's such an inclusive and fun sport. And let's be realistic, rugby is an expensive sport to conduct. You need nice fields, you need nice facilities, and Tag Rugby eliminates all that. It just says you just need a ball and tags and you play. No matter if you're on a dust road, if you're on a nice field, wherever you are, you can already play. And at any age you can come back, no matter how old you are, especially for those players who played at a high level. That juice doesn't go away. So Tag Rugby, we found a lot of players. Some very, very, very high-profile Zimbabwe players like Danny Hondo, Tafadzwa Mende. Those players have come back to Tag Rugby and are exercising their skills. They're still playing their skills because they love it. The rugby bug doesn't go away. So Tag Rugby is a perfect grounding for them, and also a good introductory sport for the main rugby.
So now, trying to measure the impact of Tag Rugby, the kids that have played when they were still young and then grown up to go to play in schoolboy, and those that are also transitioning to club rugby, are there any figures or any what is the picture like?
Yeah, so you said a very important word there is impact. That's how we survive. It's impact programs, and what you talked about is one of the impact programs, because you start introducing tag rugby at a young age, you start introducing it in high density areas, sooner or later those people will play rugby, and those people will, they'll be pretty good because they've started pretty early. So we've got a number of players Okay, a number of players, especially because our oldest now, from when we started, because we started in 2011, and obviously we started with grade 5s and 6s. Those guys are now 23, 24, and they are now highly prolific, girls and boys, in club teams, and even especially in the national team for the ladies, and obviously a couple in the sevens team who've actually made it coming from tag rugby. So that's a byproduct. For us, it's a byproduct. It's something that's going to happen naturally because there's just more people playing. But there's a number of impact programs. We use the sport actually to try and reach people's lives, to try and enhance people's lives. So we've got disability program, we've got deaf programs, we've got girls program, we've got just boys, young leader programs. So we've got a number of programs that we do, and with the sport, like you said, it becomes like a huge magnet to attract all these people. And then there's a whole education piece and leading to the impact programs that we do.
Which is great. So TJ, off your head, how many teams, tag rugby teams do we have in Zimbabwe countrywide?
Right, I can give you quite a close figure because obviously we try and monitor and track our records. We've got about 80 tag community clubs around the whole country. And all of those have average of 2 teams or 3 teams. So you're looking at plus minimum 160 teams. And these are teams which are in the communities. Then we've got our school program, and we work with over 80 schools in the country, and all of those have teams. So if you do the maths together, you're looking at above 200 teams, tag rugby teams, that play tag rugby countrywide.
Okay, so looking at, I know that the school system, they've got their own structure that they have, as well as the club systems. And so you at Tag Rugby Trust, what kind of kuchikizana do you have with all these other facilities?
The word I was use is fluid. We are fluid and flexible. Remember, we are the new sport, so we have to be flexible to fit in. So when it comes to the government schools, there's Nash and NAF. We work closely with Nash and NAF. We work with the heads of Nash, heads of NAF, and we don't interfere in their program. As much as they want us to be fully in their program, we make sure that we work around their program and we don't disturb their programs. Then there's, like you mentioned, the club systems. The club systems, the recreational systems. We are a full affiliate of the SRC, registered with SRC, because we also work in communities. So we are allowed to set up, like I was mentioning, clubs, which also fall. Some people who have clubs are people who used to run soccer teams, people who used to run cricket teams. They're people who have just have added tag rugby to what they're already doing. So we are fluid and flexible and very inviting. There's no huge qualifications or anything you need to join our team or join our ship. As soon as you're keen, as soon as you've got kids, come and join us, and we can definitely incorporate you and get tag rugby to your community or your establishment. So we remain fluid and flexible. We don't want to step on anyone's toes. Even with the Zimbabwe Rugby Union, we're a full affiliate of the Zimbabwe Rugby Union. We fall under their structures. We report according to their structures. With the SRC, with anyone, the Nash NAF, we just make sure that we are fluid, and ourselves we're registered trust in Zimbabwe. So, we try tick all the boxes in terms of our governance and in terms of the people we deal with, and making sure we tick every box like that.
Oh, you heard, folks. Now, TJ Shamu is your credentials is a level 2 coach.
Yes.
Proper rugby, professional rugby
Yes.
coach. But I wanted to ask you what does rugby do to the life of a youngster who's holding the ball for the first time? What other lessons can kids draw from the sport of rugby?
It's an interesting one, Jason, because when you look at rugby, it's a contact sport. It's a full contact sport. It's almost people inflicting pain on each other. And it almost looks like a wrestling match, especially if you're not aware of the rules. But then if you look closer, there is there's a lot that comes of rugby, which are sort of the values rugby brings. Teamwork, respect, camaraderie, togetherness. There's so many of these things, respect, discipline, that come from rugby players. And I've been involved as a coach in many sports. I have not come across the values such like rugby, where men can inflict pain on each other for 80 minutes, but it's the same guys you find having a beer and have great relationships together. It's a psychological
and the teamwork,
and the teamwork and the camaraderie. It's we have a saying in rugby that if you get lost in a country, find a rugby club, because of the teamwork, the respect, the camaraderie, the welcome, the gentleman that people become playing rugby. Because there's channels you might find rugby people become very big people. You know, naturally because of the demands of the sport. Big physical people, you know. And similarly, I know you know a lot of judo and some karate. The discipline aspect, you know, these people can really inflict pain on someone, but because they are groomed in the sport with discipline, teamwork, camaraderie, respect, they don't cross that line. You know, the referee is usually the smallest person on the field, but that person is so controlled. He controls all these men with a whistle, and no one's allowed to talk to him except through the captain. These are the things, you know, these things are, you can't learn them in the class, you can't learn them anywhere else, but they're learned on a rugby field in a training capacity. And you find that rugby does instill so much values in a youngster, like you're saying, holding a rugby ball. What can you learn from rugby? There's so many lessons to be learned in the way people train, in the discipline people have, and the respect they have amongst each other.
True. That's very true, TJ.
Yeah.
So I wanted to find out, TJ, that the year 2023 is coming to an end now, and what has been the highlight of your year at Tag Rugby Trust in Zimbabwe?
Well, there's a lot of highlights. But one comes to mind is definitely the senior tag rugby. I mean, on paper and beginning of the year, you plan these things, and when they start to unfold, they took us back about the amount of enthusiasm and uptake there was for senior schools to play tag rugby. And these aren't your traditional schools. These are schools which probably didn't have rugby in their schools. But the uptake and the appetite has been immense and has been galvanizing. The tournaments we've had in senior tag, the numbers have been amazing. We've had to almost turn down some teams for, you know, obviously for resources, but there's so many people interested. And beyond that, there's been a pool of adults who are also involved in coaching, but have also said, no, we also want to make our adult team. And it's something following into 2024 that you'll find that we are starting our full almost provincial teams, which will lead to our national tag rugby team, which will then hopefully compete against other tag rugby nations. So there's been appetite. It's birthed new things. We planned for it, and you know, the reception has been amazing.
So here you have had tag rugby, our common tag rugby, for the kids. Now we've got tag rugby for the adults. You've gone to high school now, and you've got for the disabled. You've had. I came here and I saw some deaf people playing tag rugby here as well. I saw ladies. It's called what?
Female inspiration through rugby.
Yes, female inspiration through rugby. All those. What about the marginalized areas, like the rural communities? What has been your penetration like, or what's your plan?
So the rural areas we're countrywide, and we work in every and any area. What I can tell you is that rural areas are our best areas. You know, we work in depths of Sizinda, in Vic Falls, we work in Matopos, we work in Esgodini, Mawabeni. These are marginalized areas. These areas are really rural. But what we found, obviously the schools are split apart quite wide, but the reception is second to none. Not a lot of support and help goes to those areas, and the mentality is that these things belong to the town areas. So we have massive results in rural areas. We love rural areas. We always want to work in rural areas, and we'll continue to work in rural areas because of the reception we get. It's absolutely amazing. We've got areas in Onde Valley which are very rural, where we take stuff there, but we bring so much back because of the gestures of people giving you bananas and all these things. They give you all these things because they really appreciate that, hey, someone can come all the way and teach us this elite sport. So we get so much reception in rural areas and enjoy those rural areas.
Any testimonies of youngsters maybe that have began, I know you've mentioned some early on, that have begun at tag rugby, holding the ball for the first time, and then now they're doing wonders out there?
Yeah, well, like I said, there's a lot of girls in the girls team. There's one, Farota Garira, who we found in Domboshawa. She became a sensational.
Zimbiru.
Yes, she went, Domboshawa. Didn't play for Zimbiru, played in our sports club and really made a mark at Raiders Rugby Club, and she's now a permanent fixture in the national setup, both 7s and 15s. She's a wonderful player.
All coming from tag rugby.
She obviously we create a foundation, but then she also had to meet some good coaches along the way who then shaped her up. Interesting, someone like even Carlos Mateman Tema, who's also in the 7 setup and was a huge star for the under-20s. We saw him attack rugby at a very young age, grade 4, grade 5, whilst he was living in Bare. He then went to Prince Edward, got a scholarship to Prince Edward, and the rest is history. He's become an absolute sensational player. But we won't take all the credit. We create the foundation. They also meet relevant coaches because there's also some players who haven't gone on to play rugby but have just been exceptional people. We've just become exceptional help, exceptional people in our program who do coaching, who ref, who've joined the referee society. We've done a lot of other things. So there's a bulk of multitude, and I would hate to leave out anyone because there's so many. There's some coaches in our program who've gone on to work into different schools, Heritage, St. George's, Hellenic. There's a Falcon. There's a multitude of success stories of individuals all around the country.
Along the way, TJ, what challenges have you faced in the work that you do? Seeing that, like I said earlier on, that you're at the grassroots, at the foundation, at the base of all things rugby in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Well, there's the huge challenge, which is a challenge for most grassroots institution, is obviously getting resources. Okay, because the people you want to work in marginalized areas don't have the capacity to buy or to drive resources, which leaves the onus on you. You've got to look for the resources financially, material, equipment and stuff like that. You've got to look for that, and sometimes that's a challenge because you need to ask, you need to be creative in raising money, you have to be creative in looking for donor funding and different aspects that we do, which most organizations similar to us have to go through. So that's a huge challenge, and it will always be a challenge because it's a well that will never be full. You keep on pouring, there's always another area. There's always another area which needs tag. There's always another person calling you, please, can you come and do tag rugby? So resources are always at the top of the list when it comes to me. To get these resources.
While you still at that, maybe someone out there might want to, like you have just said, to have their tag rugby happening in their own backyard, in their community, in their place. How difficult is it for that to happen? Maybe to then come up with a team. Maybe can you just quickly take us through the pace of what one needs to do, because this is happening.
Exactly. So what we have, which is very easy for those out there, we've got a nice process map of, okay, fine, I want tag rugby in my area. We have a process map on what needs to be done. Okay. Number one is always relevant authorities in your area. We don't, like I said, we don't step on people's toes. Whether it's Nash, District, SRC, we tick those boxes first. Once those boxes are ticked, it's then easier for you to do the rest. A place to train, a place to attract kids, yourself being qualified, and all our training obviously is done for free. And then it's just us, the resources we have, against the things that you have. So once the resources align, we then come. But obviously the first is getting the permissions in your area, getting the relevant authorities to say, yes, we can do this. Because we've had instances where we've been kicked out of areas because we ignored that. You can't go to someone's house and start going to the fridge and do that without asking. So we've had experiences. So what I always say to someone who's saying, please come to my area, we need tag rugby. Let's get the permissions. Let's get the paperwork done so people realize we are coming. They
know that we are there.
Because when we come full force. We don't come, we don't joke around. When we come full force. We invite schools, we invite people, we make, we try and make an impact and leave a footmark there. So it raises people's eyebrows.
Who are these guys? What's happening there?
Exactly. Then you see banners on your fields, you see people doing, we don't want the situation where we raise eyebrows and we found wanting with permissions. And just to say that, it's not difficult as well. We find we've had good support from the Zimbabwe Rugby Union, we've had great support from SRC, we've had great support from NAF and Nash. These people have opened us with open arms, and it's just a matter of just going through the protocols, but we get so much support.
So who are those good corporates that were coming, sponsors that were coming on board that are helping make this thing possible to happen?
We are so grateful, Jason. We've had National Foods, who've been always the supporter since the inception of this whole program, and they've helped us considerably. We've had Old Mutual as well, who came on board on 2016. These are long-standing members who've just really supported us and kept going. Even during COVID, they kept on supporting us. We've had also Pro Brands now, Pro Brands through Pro Dairy and Pro Bottlers. They've been also instrumental in supporting us locally. So we've also been fortunate to get the Atlas Foundation with former England captain Jason Leonard. He's also been help us.
Jason's always good, man.
Yes, he's also helped us considerably, and we've had a multitude of just individuals who have shown support for us. Some won't want to be mentioned, but they are out there, people who support us. Even Sand Sport is one person one organization which has supported us and got our word out there. They've always come to publish our things. We've got a lot of support system behind us. Not to say that the bag is full. We are still looking for for support, but we're really grateful for that support.
Okay, TJ. So in ending, TJ, would you just kindly paint a picture of what 2024 is going to be like? What are we likely going to see happening here at Tag Rugby Trust Zimbabwe?
Well, a lot more of the same will happen. But what I can really tell you now is that this senior tag is going to take another leap forward. We're going to have fixtures starting to happen for adult tag rugby, where you'll see a Harare team taking on a Chinwe team, a Bulawayo team. We're going to start raising up the profile for that adult tag rugby, which is going to happen soon. We've got a nice relationship between Tag South Africa, Tag Ireland. We're looking to get together some fixtures together. Obviously, at this stage, the fixtures might be done in South Africa. It might be just easier to get people down to South Africa and meet. But on the adult tag rugby as a sport, it's really going to take off. And if you've been following us over the years, it's just like with our junior program and the senior tag, it's something that's coming up, and we're really excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe very, very lastly, you say Tag Rugby Trust building futures through rugby.
Yes.
Can you just unbundle that? Because I feel like it's bundled, it's full of meaning.
Yes, exactly. So I think the easiest way is just to use 3 words, which I carry around with me. We're trying to build futures through rugby. We engage thousands of people around the country. Like I said, in the different areas we meet. We try to educate them on the sport, the respect, the discipline, the camaraderie, on even social skills, on financial skills, in projects we give them, income generating projects that we give them. We try and educate them on all those things. And ultimately, the building futures comes through the impact part, where someone can say, actually, I was through this Tag Rugby Trust program, I managed to get to this next level, whether it's a job, whether it's another opportunity, whether it's being able to play for the national team, or whether it's being able to raise 50 chickens and make an income generating program through us. That's the building futures through rugby.
So I've been talking to Tinashe Shamu, who is the country director for Tag Rugby Trust, and the good work that they're doing, you can become part and parcel of it by helping. I mean, coming in on board, sponsoring with whatever you can, for corporates out there, individuals, because these guys, they are going to even the remote places of Zimbabwe to find out in that talent and also change lives, like you've just heard him say, through rugby. A very good morning to you.